you're good to go.
All right, I'd like to open this meeting of the Bisbee Arts Commission on Monday, June 6, 2022 at 6:31 p.m. First thing, roll call.
Okay. Jenny Druckman.
Here.
Bill Higgins.
Here.
Karen Schumacher.
Present.
Sharon Stetter.
Here.
Amy Brett is not here yet. Angela Rockefeller.
Here.
Leslie Johns is not here. And I'm in for Nina Williams.
All right, and we do not have a public here to do a call to the public, so we're going to go ahead and move to item 1, approval of the minutes of the May 16, 2022 meeting. Do I have a motion?
I move that we approve the May 16th, 2022 meeting
Minutes?
minutes.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All ayes?
Aye.
Any nays? All right, approved. Item 2, discussion and possible action regarding the following items for the Bisbee Festival of the Arts event. First, deadlines for art event. I can't even wear this mask, it's so high. All right. Deadlines for art festival.
Do we have all those deadlines figured out? And things
Yeah.
are out there in the air right now, right? In the ether?
The first one is that we've achieved a few deadlines this last month. Sharon had the letter out to the artists.
And I sent a follow-up today, so you should.
Yeah, I saw that.
And so we are getting people sending stuff in. It's a fairly long deadline, so it's still August.
Yeah.
How many would you say that we have already?
I would say probably a 10.
Okay.
But we won't have a problem with that, I don't think. It's just, it's that it's so far out there in August.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to go into the details about the vendors, but we do have the applications are open to vendors right now until Friday. We can extend it if we have to, but we do have over 30 vendors that have applied.
Good. Okay.
Yeah, no, and most of them are Bisbee. We have some people in Tucson or Phoenix. The idea is that we would give first
To the
Bisbee,
local.
second to Cochise County, and then we'll look and see if we have any openings, we'll open it up further.
Okay.
What was the date
but
on that vendor's deadline?
June 10th, it's actually Friday. The application is very simple, so that's what I think.
So then where do you go from here if you have the number that you want? Would you repeat what you, isn't 30 the max?
Yeah, 30 is actually the max, but it's nice to have,
Extras, because we don't know that they're all going to commit yet. So people can continue to, and I actually had a request to have a shared booth. And I said, yes, people can share a booth. So
once we look at the numbers and then if people want to share, that's when it starts changing a little bit. But I think it's always nice to have more. I mean, depending on so many factors, some of those people will probably drop
there's
out.
always attrition.
Okay, so what's the deadline date again?
Friday, June 10th. So we ran an ad a few weeks ago, and then I sent out a newsletter after that. I think it was sometime last week. Anybody signed up for the newsletter? Here?
I did.
Okay. It may have gone to your spam.
No, I think I got it.
There you go. And then in that, we are also open now for volunteers. So if you go to the website, you can see, you can apply to be a volunteer, you can apply to be a vendor. So all those
Have you
things.
gotten any replies about volunteers?
Yes, we have 10 volunteers so far.
Great.
And we haven't even put it on like Bisbee community or anything, so I think we'll get quite a few.
Great.
And we'll go over the volunteer thing here in a minute. Website, discussion website for art festival, same thing. Vendor application is up. Volunteer application is up. I'm hoping to put the musicians up, but we're very soon because we do have a lineup.
I have a letter.
Yeah, you have a lineup, so we'll talk about that. Website is getting very good traction because as of discussion advertising, Facebook ad is just keeps on giving. I do have to send you another receipt for this
That's
one.
fine. Perfect. Thank you.
I also put money on the ad for vendors, so that's going through to Cochise County only. But the advertising through Facebook that we're doing, I think there's like 1,600 likes. There's an endless amount of random emails that I have received about all kinds of things. Like, do we want balloon animals?
Yeah.
You know? Do we want an African dance troupe from Phoenix? You're like, I don't know. So, I mean, we're trying to keep it people who live here, but it is, if anybody ever wants to take a look at the emails, they're fairly open. Does anybody have any questions about any of this? So I feel good about it. Advertising, our ad is due in the beginning of July for
For the
Tucson Guide. We will vote on that probably next time. I think it's like $6.95. It runs for 6 months. Well, they only change out
Yeah.
twice a year. And we have to think about what other advertising we want to do. We talked about having someone come in and maybe advise us. Because we are going to want that press release that we had worked on, we are going to want to put that out to newspapers. It'd be nice to get a hold of Arizona NPR or one of those and try and get more, especially the local papers.
Have we discussed having a person of, kind of in charge of
A point person.
a point person for all of that, or
Yeah,
press
I thought about,
releases?
we talked about Tiffany, maybe Alexander, or a few people. I'd asked you guys to think about anybody who
Yes.
might,
That's what I said.
who might specifically do advertising, like maybe they could
Press
advise.
releases and stuff like that, okay.
I'm still looking.
Does anybody want to ask her? Are we there yet?
We're probably about there right now.
Want me to ask her?
Yeah, when I ask her if she has any interest, we're looking just for like advisement and then somebody as being a point person to get a hold of things.
Right.
It's a perfect job for her in that sense. Any other questions about advertising? I don't know why I keep on looking at you
It's okay.
specifically. I just am staring at her.
Because you're pretty.
I know. I think she's just in the perfect line of sight.
I am, I'm in this perfect spot, I'm like, I feel important this
I
time.
know. I don't think, yeah,
You're always over there, like, I am, I usually sit over here.
Yeah.
Things change.
then we'll move to discussion, Chico, McMurtry, border crossers. Any,
I have no update at all, and I'm not going to, I don't think I'm going to do anything.
no update is good update because he was working with
Because
Freeport.
he's got a lot to figure out, I figure he'll take the initiative, or else I won't hear.
He had, you told me he had, because he had decided that over here would work. I mean, over in the parking lot.
Yep, I mean, it seemed like he could do a really good thing if he follows through.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Does
can
it,
check in with him.
does he need an encouragement from other commissioners, like, hey, we're really looking forward to it?
I think he's kind of a hands-off sort of, I think we should give him a little time.
Okay, all right,
He has to talk to Robert.
okay.
But
Okay, so we're
I
still
I
on
can
hold
follow up
there.
anytime you want.
Yeah, I think we had decided to sort of give him a little bit of
Yeah.
say so that we weren't just harassing him. Then discussion and possible action regarding the amount to pay a sound person for the Festival of the Arts event. We have found 2 people willing to do sound.
Oh, cool.
Okay, sorry, because I didn't get the agenda in the email.
You haven't got it ready yet?
Well, I have it ready, I just thought we already decided.
We were wavering, remember, 4 or 5?
5, that's what I thought we decided.
That's fine.
I hope that's
So
fine,
do we need to?
because
we
I
need to
thought
vote
we
on it?
decided.
We just have to vote on it. So we did also, Jenny did some research about sound people in Tucson. She reached out to someone in Tucson to find out that they wanted $3,500, $3,700. So we are,
I've maxed out, I've asked every sound person that's ever been here to do sound, and then they referred me to that person, Tucson, and someone else that never got back to me, so I have an alternative.
so we decided to hire Jessica and Billy, who felt like they would be, they thought they would be
Jessica
fine.
wants to do it.
They're going to, it's going to be mostly acoustic, I mean, it's not acoustic, but like 2 or 3 people, but it's not punk music during the day or anything. I think they'll be more than capable. And it'll be nice to put the
Give
money back in.
money back into another local artist, I agree.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, do I have a motion?
Did we make that?
I move to approve, Bill and Jess, so formal, as our sound person, the amount of 500 for the Festival of the Arts event.
500 per day.
500 per day?
Yeah.
Oh, I did not realize that was what we were paying.
Yeah. That's why I thought we had to decide it, so
No, we had discussed it.
So, not getting my emails. It's
That's problematic.
It's probably going to spam. That's what Amy found.
Okay. So, we were going to pay them 500 for both, 500 total.
We're more than, we can discuss this right now, too.
Yeah, I mean-
I just was confused. I thought you meant 500 for the whole thing.
I'm not sure what I thought. No, I can't remember.
That was what was happening.
I just know that I'm so disconnected with what the going rate is that I
wouldn't know what to.
Well,
I wouldn't know what to do anyway.
Well, the going rate is $3,700.
I think $500 a day is actually more fair. Just thinking through all this and all the times that we've done sound and everything that's involved and the amount of work and attention to detail for how many hours. I mean, it does sound like a lot, but for some reason I thought we had already decided.
No, we talked about it. We had decided, but that's perfectly fine. We know what the going rate for a professional is. It seems only reasonable to pay them.
And
They're gonna be there all day long. So do I have a motion?
My motion, I don't think was detailed enough.
Just say, just say per day.
Oh, here it is.
What do I need to say?
Well, I can do it.
Okay.
I move to approve the paying the Bill and Jessica as sound people in the amount of $500 per day for the Festival of the Arts event.
Do I have a second?
I'll say.
All ayes?
Aye.
Any nays? I felt good about that because of what we found the other price.
Yeah.
Well,
Of course.
I hope that's-
right now, we've been fairly, it's within the boundaries of being fine, yeah. Discussion, circus performers. Don't you love that that's what our agenda is?
You guys are just like moving, circus, it's fun stuff.
No, it is, but I like that that's an agenda item.
Yeah, circus
Circus
performers, that's awesome.
Okay, so I talked with Sarah and we got a hold of our insurance and we're willing to go ahead and organize a group of street and circus performers and umbrella them under our insurance.
Amen. And you're able to, you have the discernment to choose who you trust.
And that was one of the things that both Sarah and I wanted to make very clear is that we want to be as inclusive as possible, but since the risk is that we're taking, we definitely want people, like, we have a couple of people in mind that we think are very talented and love to have them involved, but we've had problems with them in the past being on their apparatus and not being very clear-headed. And the last thing you want is a drunk stoat walker or, you know. And
These are important issues.
I love it.
Only in Bisbee do you get a drunk stoat walker. No.
so I just want to make this clear up front that the two of us are going to be as inclusive as possible, but that we're going to have some very clear discussions with some of the performers due to some past history and experiences to make sure that we have people who are clear-headed and reliable and safe.
And I think that you can use it's an invitational
The art
perspective.
required.
I trust Ann. I trust
We can.
It's invitational. You get an invitation to do it or you don't.
And I'm a lot worse at being like too nice. Sarah has no problem at all saying that. So that's why we pair up well. Good guy, bad guy.
It's your insurance.
Yeah, and it's very expensive. And so we wanted to let you know already that we'll have, we have to do some look at the map, how we have all, as a commission, decided where things will be, and then what's remaining as far as still keeping our clear right-of-ways for setting up things like the aerial rig, because it does have a fair footprint.
You might want it at the end of the street.
And that's actually what we
Another
were,
stage.
Yeah.
Stage up here and a stage down.
and also like needing the aerial rig doesn't have to be as level as the pole, but the pole really does have to be level, so we can't set up on like the gravel area. So
The street might suit you well.
the street would actually be best,
Yeah.
and so that's we'll go out there with our level and kind of take a look at some
Yeah,
spots.
Americana Fest got away with closing off that street at the end totally. They had that stage at the very end of the street.
So are you talking about down at the bottom?
Yeah, if we can do
Okay.
the same thing where
Not
we
to
have,
the bridge.
Yeah.
but just before, like before the, so if we
We
go.
have to have a way for the fire department to go through there.
Well,
Yeah, but we
they
can hug
did
to
it,
one
they did it
side.
for the Americana Fest, they just had a dead end.
I don't
If
know
that's
how
a dead
legally
end.
they did that.
Yeah.
It's probably not gonna fly
Yeah.
now, I
Okay.
can probably
Okay.
guarantee
Okay.
you that. As long as they have
yeah.
some sort of fire lane, you guys should be fine.
Okay.
Yeah, I was assuming we needed the same clearance as we
Because now we
do
have,
set the
we have
tents.
international fire code now, or the code's changed too.
Codes, staffing, all that has
Yeah.
changed, so.
no free-for-all.
Well,
No,
what I
unfortunately
figure
not.
we'll do at some point is we'll go out and take the map that we have and look at potentials and we'll tell you what will physically, mechanically work.
Yeah.
Because there's two things that will be stationary. We'll have the stage pulled there. There's likely to be 4 dancers. We're not planning any kind of choreographed show, but our suggestion was to do something where we guarantee there will be people in those apparatus at the top of every hour for a certain period of time.
That's perfect.
And do that for 4 hours of the day, kind of similar to the music. And we'll have hopefully 2 stilt walkers. We'll have a lyra performer and hopefully an aerialist. Of course, we haven't confirmed with all of our other performers.
Timeline-wise, how long do you need until you guys think you'll have a real proposal, like a solid proposal?
When would you guys like a proposal?
I mean, probably a month
Okay,
or a month and a half if you really
Okay,
need
if
it.
For
So
the
we could-
advertising.
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah,
so,
you need to get it out as soon as I can,
Okay.
but a month is fine.
okay.
A
I'll
month and a
get,
half is like fine too.
okay, I'll confirm with Sarah. Hopefully by our first meeting in July, I can have a proposal.
That would be fantastic. Thank you so much for all your work on that too.
Yeah,
It's an
and
important part of this. I think it's good.
also wanted to let you know 2 days in a row is too much. So we'll only be able to do Saturday.
I think it's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's even with the
Saturday will be
Rangers
easier
there,
day.
we can't
Yeah, Saturday would
comfortably
have been.
leave our gear out, and the setup and breakdown is
Right.
quite intensive, so.
Okay.
No, I think that's great. Sunday's gonna be a quieter day anyway.
Hmm.
One of the things that we haven't
We
talked about
think-
is that Brad's is gonna be in the middle of Saturday. So that might slow things, but I think it'll be fine.
I think
Well,
it's
and
fine.
you could even choose Sunday. We could choose either day. We're okay, but it's not, we just can't do 2 days in a
I think
row.
Saturday's always better, probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just because our performers are
And you
our
know
setup crew too.
The Bratz doesn't run down Main Street until like 4 or 5 in the
Oh,
afternoon.
is that right?
That's right.
And our event's over at 5.
Yeah,
So they're gonna have the carts there, some on display, permanent, and then they're gonna still run, and then the thought was more carts would arrive for Sunday.
for Sundays.
That's
Oh,
Yeah.
that's nice, okay.
So that
Very nice.
Sunday would be more the focus of
Yeah.
Brats.
the brats.
Right.
That's
All right.
perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, great job. So discussion and possible action regarding the amount of time for each performer and the amount to pay performers for the Festival of the Arts event. This is musical performances, because, yeah.
We
the other- the
will
circus-
come up with something that is one umbrella
Yeah.
cost.
So we have said 125 per 45 minutes, right?
I don't know, because I never
We got the-
confirmed it with Nina. This is where
We
everything.
said $100.
$100
for
per
45
person is what I thought. I
Yeah, per
remembered.
45-minute sets with 15 minutes setup time.
Per performer or per act?
Per,
I thought it was-
that's what I,
You know, it was what?
Didn't-
I thought it was a performer.
I think it was.
So how many do you happen to have your performance list? Can I see it? I was gonna do some very complicated math. 1, 2,
Yeah, but, you know, people have,
because Whiskey Liquors has, what, 6 people?
We're not gonna give each of them $100.
No, no.
so.
So can we have group fee of $300, individuals 100 or 75?
Yeah, what about duos?
Duos get 150.
Most
Did
of
we
these
do
people,
75 per person instead of 150? I don't know. So it's
I
only
think-
45 minutes,
All right,
and $75 is a good per person fee, don't we think, or is it not? And then for groups, we could top it off at $300.
So have a per person,
just,
but then a
yeah,
cap.
we need to be a little,
Yeah, with the
we
cap.
don't have to vote on it, so I'd like to see, because I think that, we're not the farmer's market, but the farmer's market pays $100 for 4 hours to the entire group.
Mm.
I'm not, that's not fair.
It's not
No.
I mean, that's not fair for something like this, it's fine for the farmer's market. But we need to come, we need to,
we need to come up with something tonight.
Because you're gonna be
Because
posting
I've
it.
already talked to people.
Yeah, I was just
I
gonna
mean, I
say,
scheduled all these people.
did anybody ask you?
No.
Huh, that's good to be.
They didn't ask how much they're gonna be paid, they just said, we want to
I
do
said, yeah, we want to.
That's great.
That's great, we love it.
I'm just doing, I'm just counting.
Yeah.
I think capping a group, like, the Bisbee, what did you guys get?
300, then that's
Even there's
50.
6 of you, yeah.
Well, I'd rather do 100 for a single person and then cap it at 300, so I don't know what in between.
That seems, I actually think that's,
Yeah.
when you cap it at 3, and then do 100 per single.
Uh-huh.
Let me just do, let me just
Yeah.
do.
Just gonna do that.
How many people are in Gabe, just Gabe, right?
Well, Gabe might have Gabe, I invited Gabe. So he didn't say he was playing by himself, he's probably gonna have Timothy or something.
So what we should do too, on top of this, is that you had asked me, and at that time, we probably should have, we'll write a contract and have them sign it with the amount that we decided tonight.
All right.
And say, if you bring all of your friends on stage, we are not responsible for
Yeah,
it. You can
definitely
have
we need to-
everybody in town come sing with you, but we're not gonna pay for anybody other than the people on this list.
Okay.
Does that sound good?
Yes, I mean,
How many people are in Loca Monday?
There's 6, I believe. Is that accurate?
Odd Lang Syne too?
yeah,
We got 100, plus capping at 300. How many people are in the Brooks?
oh, yeah, 4.
It might only be 5, I'm looking. Do you remember?
I think it might be 5.
5. I can
It's
only
still-
remember
we're
5.
capping it.
2,100.
2 days of music?
That's not bad.
Not bad.
Is that, Judy, does that sound good?
So then what did we decide? Because I'm gonna write it down.
100 per person, capping out at 3. So if Whiskey
300
Hunters has 10 people, they're only getting 3. But I think that's still, from what I know of going rates, that's very reasonable.
So if there's 2 people playing, they get 200? And then
South by
any more-
Southwest gives $175 for an act, isn't that terrible?
We've always prided ourselves at the Arts Commission on trying to pay at least the
Fair.
going rate.
Yeah, I think that does.
All right, so
This
let me
makes
get
it a lot
it,
more than a public bar.
let me get clear though. So it's $100 per person.
Mhm.
If there's 2 people,
It's
it's
$200.
200, and any more than that, it's 300.
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah,
correct?
If you come
Yeah.
on stage with 6 people, it's still, yes, 300.
We have to cap. And then we'll write out a
Can I
contract,
see the
Yeah.
listing?
so that we can get them all to sign it.
Yeah, because, I mean, a lot of people will want to bring other people. Like Mike and Tori, that's 4. That sounds good to me.
Sound good to you?
Yeah, it does
Okay.
sound good to me, thank you.
That's all.
And I also have to go back, though. Do we want a contract for the sound person? Will they
Yes.
need to sign a contract?
So we need a contract for the sound people, we need a contract for the performers, laying out that, both of those information. And I can, we can find one online and adapt it if we need to.
All right.
Do we need to have, if we're having contracts signed, are we gonna have to have the
Have
lawyer
a
look
lawyer.
at it?
We have our attorney coming into the office tomorrow. I can double check with him.
That's great.
Mhm.
Sometimes we do and sometimes we don't.
Yeah.
And in that vein, I think we have an answer.
Yeah.
See, the better, the sooner the better. Jenny, we'll work, I'll help you,
Well, on,
contract then. So do I have a motion?
Yes, I motion that we approve to pay for each performer $100.
We're gonna change it to musician.
A musical, okay, to musicians, for each musician to perform at the festival. Individual performers to receive $100, and then we will cap at $300 for groups. So,
Is that okay? Is that how that station work? Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, $100 per
Good.
person.
it's,
Yeah.
You have a second?
Second.
All ayes?
Aye.
Any nays? Thank you guys so much.
Did that make sense?
thank
Okay.
And I actually like,
It
this
did
was
to
never
us.
rolling.
I got it.
Thank you, Ashley.
I sometimes feel like we're speaking like a foreign language, like a bunch of, you
We've been
know.
working on this so long that, yeah, that's why it doesn't run like a regular meeting.
No, it flows rather well.
Okay.
You guys are doing well.
Trying very hard to not talk over each other.
No, you're staying to your agenda. You're just fine.
We're just doing that for you. You should see the chaos of the
Poor Nina.
Okay, that's good, that's
Yeah.
really, I'm really glad.
Solidified.
Yeah.
Okay.
Discussion volunteers. Sharon and Bill met and started laying out some information about volunteers.
Yes, we did. And Bill, do you want to talk about it, or do you want me to?
Bill,
Bill?
What?
you want to talk about the volunteers or do you want Sharon to?
Sharon, you talk.
Okay. Well, in our brief pre-meeting meeting, Bill and I got together to discuss this, the volunteers, and we're of the idea that we'll need at least 50 volunteers, and we're starting to lay that out. You know, as how many people to help us do setup and breakdown, how many people do we need to be greeting at the gates, how many people do we need even going into pre-event, hanging posters. So as time goes on, what I think we're going to do on the website, which we're going to talk about, is having the volunteers sign up, but also categorize what volunteer areas people might be in.
And they can choose.
Right. If they want to build for me at the at the art exhibition, if they want to, those kind of things will be spelled out. So, and I did, hold on.
We can also, I can always email all the volunteers too and ask them. Right now, they don't have options.
Yeah.
They're just a volunteer.
This is just a beginning on what,
The
where
categories.
we need categories. So if you think can help
Okay.
me with that, there's one for you.
We might,
There's one for Amy, but
we might need to have a meeting for volunteers too.
I
That's a
agree,
good idea.
definitely.
there will have to be a meeting
Yeah.
probably in September when we're close.
Yeah.
And we talked more about the potential of a point person, a coordinator.
I don't know, I tried to get Amy to do it, but it wasn't happening.
It wasn't happening. So yeah, we were discussing there needs to be
I was
like
like,
the
Hinton.
Yeah.
the overlord. We need an overlord.
I was like, who wants to be king of the volunteers?
And then I go like this.
And no matter how we frame it, it doesn't seem to work.
Yeah.
Nobody wanted to be king. We can have a volunteer that is king.
Yes, we're gonna find the perfect volunteer to be the
King of
overlord.
volunteers, yeah.
You and I ultimately
The
kind of
one
end
time
up
I
being
like
like
the
just
one
walking
wall
around
cover.
anyway, but.
We're all gonna be,
We're all volunteers, by the way. So this is an interesting thing that Bill and I were discussing. Do we want to, this is early to talk about, but besides wearing our badges that identify us as Bisbee Arts Commissioners, maybe come up with some sort of a costume and
well, I was
or
hoping to have a
uniform.
overlord.
And I have one that says under.
I can make badges, or we can make, this goes off topic, but it doesn't exactly.
No, but
We
it's
were
fine.
talking about making t-shirts to sell them anyway. One of the things was having like tan line come and print them on while they're there. But we should probably just suck it up and make volunteer shirts.
Yeah. So
Disney
that's
Festival of the Arts and volunteer in the
but
same
that
font.
beautiful image or poster that people love. Everybody's going to want the T-shirt for their effort. So if we want to,
That's your thank you.
that's their thank you. So now I have to look up T-shirts. Do you know who does T-shirts?
It depends on if you want them screen print. I mean, screen printing is expensive. I would check out prices. I would
Okay.
check tan line in Tucson. Unfortunately, there is no, I'm still looking at you the whole time. I'm gonna look over here. There is,
It's okay, I'm
it's getting weird, it's
mesmerizing.
getting very weird.
We know.
Tan line in Tucson, if you wanna check prices, there's another one. Unfortunately, there's nobody screen printing
Local?
here in town.
Yeah.
There's Wicked Limits in Sierra Vista. I don't know what their costs are.
I just
but-
saw, I just passed
You
that
wanna
the
check
other
with
day.
them?
Okay.
There's
Wicked Limits?
Mhm.
There's another one in Tucson when I remember the name of.
Talking about volunteers, this might be slightly off topic, but I just want to plant the seed, is,
Everything's on topic if you spin it correctly.
I know, I forgot to bring it up when we were talking about circus performers, is the fact that I'm going to be playing multiple roles. So this Saturday, I'll be in the air.
You're king of performers.
So having a T-shirt you could put on is really helpful.
I'll be the one in the clown costume, dangling in the air. Just FYI, thinking about my availability that day to do other.
Yeah, we'll adapt it.
We're going to figure this out.
Okay.
This like, I think I'll probably, we'll have an information booth when we handle the vendors, and I probably will do help the vendors or something. But we'll work that all out, for
Okay.
sure. But we will take into consideration that you obviously cannot do anything other than be in the air. I'd be like, Angela, hand me something.
Yeah, I'll just swing.
Yeah, I feel the same way about the music.
Yeah.
It's so big, that's your
Overlord
job.
of musicians.
Yeah, you're the overlord musician, you're the overlord of the circus performance.
Yeah.
Bill, you are the overlord of volunteers,
I watched,
king of volunteers.
Feels like, think about what people.
Now I feel like we're a Saturday Night Live skit, you know,
All right, let's rein it in.
or countdown.
King of the exhibition. All right. You're gonna be in there selling our books. So yeah, the volunteer list. Let's see how many we get. I'm gonna really push it, and then we're aiming for at least 50. That's what you want. If you talk to someone and they say, "Oh my God, I would really like to volunteer," send them to the website.
Yeah.
Don't have them email, because I have a few emails where I have to be like, "Please go to the website,"
Yeah.
because it's just too many. I can't keep track.
Try to
unless it-
save you that.
The other ones just poop it into the Google Doc, which is great. But when people just send me random emails, it gets a little confusing.
Okay.
Is Benita interested?
Juanita?
Benita.
Benita,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, there's a Juanita in there too, that already has volunteered. So then let's move to my favorite topic on earth, insurance costs for vendors. I'm gonna tell a short story for my committee here, commission. So the city is insuring the event, because we are the city of Bisbee. The city is requiring that vendors get additional insurance on top of that and have a certificate of liability. This is my best of understanding. That certificate of liability event insurance ranges in price from $125 to about $250
Setup.
per vendor for 2 days. I was a little aghast, not because I think that is unreasonable, but because I know that Bisbee does not think that's reasonable, because they have so rarely been asked to pay for that sort of insurance. So I talked to the farmer's market. They are able to have a waiver, but we cannot have a waiver.
We're different than the farmer's market.
Then that's what she explained to me, because she said, I rent it from the city and it's on me.
Yeah, it's totally different.
And so I talked to her about it. I was trying to find the cheapest thing, and it looks like it ranges from $125 to about $250. Progressive was the cheapest. I talked to Kathy Sowden, and she said that her insurance that she got to cover Pride offered her vendors additional insurance, but I don't think we have that option.
I'd have to check with Carrie on that, but I could find out.
If we could, because I've been very vague to my vendors, because I'm hoping there's something to get it a little bit lower. I mean, if it not, the city is waiving the business license fee. We can waive the $75 registration fee to Bisbee residents only. So we're talking about $125, which I don't think is that bad.
Right.
I do think that there's.
But if it's that plus everything else, it's.
It starts to add up and.
But it'll be at 175 plus, or 125 plus 75, which equals 200. Unless we decided to waive the fee for all Bisbee residents. The people who are not from Bisbee are not aghast, because they're vendors. There are vendors and they know how much it costs.
Right.
And some art festivals I looked up, it's $450 to participate. It's just that our town is not used to having to pay those kind of prices, so that's where I woke up in the middle of the night for like 3 weeks thinking about this. And I did my due diligence. I talked to so many people, and it seems like that's what it is. If we can talk to her and see if there's any way,
I'll hopefully have an answer tomorrow.
that's awesome. Because that was the thing I wanted to ask, because I was like, I mean, if we can't get away with it, I mean, we can't get it a lower price, we can talk about trying to find people who will sponsor vendors, local vendors, or something. There's always a solution.
It's not that unreasonable.
I don't think it's that unreasonable.
Then people have to really realize we're really putting on a large, prestigious event.
I don't think it's as bad as it seems.
Yeah, right.
It's mostly just that I know the town really well at this point. And I know that, getting insurance is not something that a lot of people are used to.
Right.
So we'll look at all our options and go from there. But I wanted to tell you the story. So in case somebody asks you,
Yeah.
you say, Karen spent days.
And she was up all night.
She's up all night. She couldn't sleep. Don't bother her. She's got having a nervous breakdown.
You should see her book of knowledge.
Have you
It's
seen her?
exploding. It's exploding.
No, I spent a lot of time researching it, and maybe we'll figure out something else too.
I'm thinking we possibly have an option for that, but let me follow up.
That would be
Thank
awesome.
you.
So if you look at the application online, it is incredibly detailed and yet sort of vague when it gets to insurance costs.
Yeah.
I was like, it varies.
I can read to you just one person's message today. One, how will you determine who is eligible for getting the $70 fee waived without risk for discrimination? Two, how can an individual's insurance company determine the square footage of the liability area? I know USAA would just laugh at me. They don't provide that type of insurance. What if someone trips 1 foot in front of someone's booth? The city will waive the business license fee, but we
Who is the
still have
person?
to get a certificate of business license? What if I already have a business license?
Then you don't have to get a
The
business
initial
license.
pitch to artists was that it would be free to them. This was from Tamara Page.
We never pitched that it would be free.
No, we didn't.
No,
We pitched that the thing would,
We're keeping it as free as we can. This is still free, but.
well, and the way that, if someone watches, and the way that it works is that when it comes to sort of discrimination, I don't really think there's any discrimination, because if you are a Bisbee resident and you say, I don't have the money to pay the $75 fee, I will say, okay, right?
Let's figure it out.
Let's figure it out. Somebody sent me an email, I won't go into who it was, about that, and I said, they were like, I just, I have a lot of money, and I said, we will figure it out. And so that's why I don't mind being the spot person for the vendors, because I don't mind reassuring them.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Okay.
But when it gets that detailed, it gets a little nerve-wracking.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
But I work with her all the time, so I can answer all those questions.
Can you?
I just wanted to show you what
kind of
what
things.
kinds of things are coming back already.
Mm-hmm.
No, I work with Tamara fine.
Any other?
No, that's today. So,
So that's where
Before we
the
go.
insurance fear comes from. But yeah, reassure her.
I will. So I didn't see that we had that on our agenda in here, the insurance thing, but I'm glad we brought it.
We did. It says insurance costs for
Right
vendors.
under volunteers.
I added that, because I just wanted to tell you my story.
Oh, I must have printed out the wrong thing then.
We will work with whoever needs to be worked with, as long as they're a Bisbee resident. I do not believe in waiving the fee for people coming from out of town, because this is supposed to be in support of this.
Right.
Yeah.
Hopefully
So-
we can get 30 local vendors.
Yeah, and I think we might have some not local vendors, but those vendors are vendors.
Yeah.
They're like, they go to our festivals, they're totally used to it. All right, any questions? Discussion and possible action regarding the rental of tents, chairs, and tables for the Bisbee Festival of the Arts. So, as a refresher, our last company went out of business in Sierra Vista, and Angela did research.
All right. So, if we count the company High Jump in Sierra Vista, I have now dealt with 9 different rental companies. 8 of them, well, 1 of them in Douglas, and then 7 in Tucson. Once I finally gave a list of everything we were looking for, that narrowed it down to 5 companies. And then once I said we needed the setup and breakdown, then that narrowed us down to 3 companies.
It's like a game.
Yes, it's a whack-a-mole.
Then you're like, I need you to set up at 4:30 in the morning on Saturday.
Yes. So, I have 3 companies that I have had them submit bids. Unfortunately, I did not bring copies because I thought Nino was gonna print copies out of the quotes.
We're very spoiled.
Yes.
Just tell us.
Okay, well, let me tell you, there's 3 companies: Arizona Party Rental, out of Tucson, A La Carte Rental out of Tucson, and Cordova Tent and Event out of Tucson. They all came in within several $100s of each other. We're looking at like $6,500 for setup and all equipment, setup and breakdown. Cordova, and I don't want to sound at all like I'm being, like I want to work with a woman and not a man, The guy would not get on the phone with me and sent me a million kind of tedious emails. So it was just kind of high maintenance.
Well, it shows what your relationship's gonna be in the future.
Exactly. A la carte, the gal was really nice, but very difficult to get a hold of, and she ended up submitting like 3 different quotes, like she kept thinking of something new she had to change.
Right. So you're-
Arizona party rentals, Tanya, I loved her. I could get her on the phone after hours, before hours, any time of day, and they have anything and everything we would ever need. They were willing to set up at like 4:30 a.m. on Saturday
Good.
and break down right after the event on Sunday, so we don't have to add breakers.
Do I have a motion?
Hired.
We don't have to keep the Rangers another night.
No, we can go back to having one night with the Rangers.
Yes.
It saves us $1,000.
Yes.
That's right.
I literally was like, I need to drive to Tucson right now and kiss you really big. When she was talking about it, she's like, oh no. And let's get the information, so they need to weigh the tents, you know, and they were the only company too that if we couldn't get water to them that would be pressurized enough to fill the things fast enough, that they even have the option to bring a truck with a crane and big concrete blocks.
I don't even know how much that costs.
It's only a couple $100 more, but hopefully the water situation will work. I still haven't heard back from city,
City Hall?
City-
the works.
Public Works.
Oh, works. I was
Public
like,
Works.
this is city, this is the queen of city.
Yes. So I'm needing to find out what kind of access to water we could have on Erie Street, that could we tap into fire hydrant or?
I doubt they'll allow that,
There's-
to be
Okay.
completely
Are there
honest.
any?
Does Public Works have a hookup back there or anything?
Have to ask-
Nothing that's going to be close to where you guys are wanting it
Is it
to.
possible that, what's his name?
It's free, sorry,
Oh, sorry. I was gonna say
what's the website?
the people letting us use the electricity.
Josie.
Oakfield?
Yeah, the Oakfields.
So, don't a hose over there?
They probably do, but I'm wondering what the water pressure is, and we're talking about lots of
getting it
gallons.
I
of
assume the water pressure on Erie Street is not great.
Is crap.
It's not great. No, we're there. It's not great.
Okay.
So do you guys already have, I'm catching up, so do you guys already have the mechanism to weigh these tents down, or is the company bringing
So
them?
the company's bringing them, and what they do is they bring empty water barrels,
Mhm.
and then they need to fill them on site. And
And those will be there at 4 o'clock in the morning on
early
Saturday.
in the morning, the question is, it can often take 4 hours for them to fill.
Right.
And so
Oh.
they're worried about that
Right.
being the contingency. The other option by going with this company is they do have
Concrete.
concrete
But
blocks that they can bring instead. It's
That
just
was
more
fun.
Be a
expensive.
lot easier.
You said it's a difference of a couple $100.
I'll double check with her.
Mm.
I had so many numbers, because I was getting numbers from all these companies, so,
You did great.
I apologize, I don't have printouts of the quotes, guys.
That's fine, just next meeting, if you can get a finalized quote for them, just them, and then we'll vote on it, because we can't really vote on it right
yeah, I
now.
think you've vetted everybody well enough that we agree.
I thought you guys would probably
Yeah.
agree with my interpretation,
For
like,
sure, 100%.
nothing worse than having to deal with people that are hard to communicate with.
It would
And
be
you won't get what you want.
heartbreaking if we cannot get a hold of them when we need to.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
exactly, and, in the future, we might find that if we really like this company, they have some, like, they have bathrooms, they have.
I was looking at
trash
the whole
pickup,
shebang, 'cause we already
yeah.
voted on, we already got toilets.
Yeah, I know we did, but I'm just saying for like future events, we might find that, oh, isn't that nice, we
Just
call
in
one
company,
person.
yeah.
The fact that they are willing to set up on Saturday and break down, that saves us $1,000. Right
Yeah,
there.
right there. So let me find out, about the concrete blocks.
And then can you get a proposal from them for next one? That's great. That's awesome, that sounds great.
I think it's.
And, then the other question is, have we decided how we want to block off the street? They also rent that kind of stuff.
The city no longer lets people,
We usually don't, but I could see them possibly doing that because it is a
it
city
is a city.
event. So let me follow up on that.
Okay.
Katie was gonna use tires for the way. We just throw tires in the. If,
Yeah.
if you can find out for us, that would be awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah, because they have multiple kinds to pick from, you know, and then they have the fencing for beer gardens.
Everything. So, yeah, we're gonna have to put some sort of fencing around the.
Yeah, so they have all that stuff as well. But currently, all that the quote includes is that list, our tents, our chairs, and our tables. And they have the exact same size tables that we picked out before.
Right.
Well, let's go with that, and then we can always, we'll vote on
We'll
it. and then
add it if
We
we
can
want
add
to.
it. The other thing that we probably are gonna need some single pop-up tents, but we thought we could probably get those from in town.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like the Arts Commission specifically is gonna need a pop-up tent, it's
Yeah.
just our vendor or something, so, but let's just leave it at that.
Okay.
Does that sound good? Everybody?
And I can easily have it
Yeah.
from at the next
Great,
meeting.
it needs
She
to
had
happen.
like 24-hour turnaround for me. I
You
talked to
can
her.
email it to us.
We-
Yeah.
We love her already. That's great.
Yay, Tonya.
Any questions about that? That's perfect. Thank you so much, Angela.
Yeah.
and is it just road closed signs that you're needing from?
We just need those for the day, yeah.
Okay, perfect.
2 days.
So, donation boxes. Sharon went on a journey.
Yeah,
Did
good
you go
fun.
to
I didn't get to
I
go.
mean, she didn't get to go, she was waiting on workers at her house. But Steve is, he's, you know, such a competent woodworker. And I got to go in his beautiful home, which I wanted to go into, and it's amazing the detail work he does. And then he takes me outside and shows me right away an idea. And it's funny that we were joking or talking about what could this thing look like. And Karen says, I like the idea of a Bisbee house. So I get over to Steve's house, and he's got this pedestal base from an old table. It's round and it's cylindrical, but it's also tapered at the top. So you literally have an opening down the bottom where you could put a core sample, speaking of like a piece of concrete, as something to stabilize. It's actually very stable, but also to make it too heavy to move.
Right.
And then attached to the top of that, a Bisbee house.
Oh, that's so
And
great.
then we're gonna put money down the chimney.
Shove the money in the chimney.
Oh, that's
Like
so
Santa
cute.
Claus going down the street.
Oh.
But anyway, he's
That's
gonna make
exciting.
this, he's gonna make this beautiful donation box. I think that we ought to agree to pay his materials expenses.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
But he's gonna do it for, just for that, for
So
his
we'll-
material
So
expenses.
we'll vote on that after he has the expenses.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And so it's gonna, so I'm very excited about it.
Yeah.
And we'll be able to loan it out to other organizations, so I think it's a really good thing for the city to have.
I was just like talking out of my, because I know, just trail all day. Well, Sharon asked me, she was like, what do you want it to look like? And I was like, a house.
A Bisbee house.
But people, what we've learned is Bisbee loves Bisbee, so anything that looks like Bisbee is.
Yeah, I loved it.
I've never lived in a place that loved itself so much. It's quite charming. That's great. And then Arizona Rangers, well, we're gonna go back.
Right.
So when Amy's here next time, maybe she didn't get her thing. Then we'll go with the original bid. And we'll vote on it next time. We'll vote on the bash. It was 500, right?
Yeah.
No.
Huh?
Do
No,
we need
there's
to,
time. There's
do we
a
need to
point.
contact Amy and let her know so she's not putting in the effort to get a hold of the Rangers?
Yes. Let me write it down. I essentially saw her yesterday.
I know, we all saw her. so I
Yeah,
thought-
we all saw her.
Take your pen for 1 second.
Here. Oh. 2 nights.
Just one.
I mean, 1 night.
One night, they started at 4:30 in the morning.
Amazing.
Yeah, that's amazing. I'm so happy. We're about to spend a lot of money. We haven't really spent very much money, but now it's not
Yeah,
It's
changing.
about to change.
We're all getting nervous.
I'm getting nervous. I was gonna see if we could have some sort of like running guesstimate budget.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I still have to say more, because we haven't spent any money.
But today, we just approved 6,500 for
Yeah.
party rentals and 2,100 for music and
Yeah,
And I-
31.
no,
$500.
we didn't approve it.
We didn't
Oh,
approve the
no,
Rangers
we're
yet,
just,
but
that means we're just talking
Yeah.
numbers.
No,
Not approved.
We approved a lot of money.
I'm like crossing my fingers that we come
So
in at a reasonable price with the concrete blocks, because the whole water thing makes me really nervous.
Yeah.
as
That sounds
of
like
right
a
now,
good
we have spent $3,600.
Okay.
And tonight, we discussed spending about $9,600 more
Wow.
of our 30 days.
That's why I wanted
Those
to
are
know.
the biggest expenses
Yeah.
right there, outside of the wood for the exhibition, and
And the app, when they added Tucson guy, but that's not that bad.
no.
I did get some good news about building materials. Last 2 months, they've been dropping an extreme amount. 3 months ago, just a sheet of basic plywood was $75, and you can now get it for $35. So, like, yeah.
And we need to think about,
Buy now.
do we need volunteers to help? Or who are we gonna have construct the exhibition space?
Well, the good news is Dave Rose has an exhibition that he's doing with Artemisia, and I think Sloan is paying for the build out of a lot of Dave Rose's space for this exhibition. And then Dave has another photographer exhibiting just before our event. So the space will be well outfitted for, so I don't know yet what we need to build.
Yeah.
But at the week of the event, yes, I'm gonna have to have at least 4 Ron people to help me build stuff.
Yeah.
We don't know what that is yet.
Yeah.
It'll all come in quickly, so,
We're getting a little bit off, and I wanna be,
yeah.
we can go back to it here 1 second. The last thing that's actually left on the agenda that's very specific
Mhm.
is, and this is something I don't want to decide tonight, it's something we need to think about. We had the pleasure of planning an event inside of our event, as if we already didn't have enough to do.
Yeah.
But the Friday night, we are having a fundraiser that is the opening for the show, probably locals. We're gonna charge money to go, except for the artists, who don't get free tokens, I figured that out. But if you pay, you get free tokens. That bar is also is the ballpark lunches, the money will go to them. Music-wise, we need something, so we are keeping the music during the day very acoustic-y, more casual. That night, we're gonna need something really special. Not that the other ones aren't. My only idea that I have is that I would like maybe to have Bendale open and play his weird instrument for a little while.
Oh, that deal's.
Yeah, I love that.
Because everybody loves singing him. But,
Yeah.
And that guy Brian also plays in Hairdo. Have you heard him? But Ben's, it's to Ben.
It's just
Similar.
Yeah, I just love the, because everybody loves Ben, and it's so strange.
Yeah.
Him and I did a duet thing at during Junona's wedding, and I never performed to that kind of music, and it was perfect for Ariel.
It's so great.
It's so pretty.
I like that idea, it's, with regards to that would be a performance. And I think people would be watching much of that, and how long would he, when he goes to the park, it goes on for a long time,
He doesn't have to do it for 3 hours or anything. Yeah, I don't know, it's up to you.
but.
I thought it would be something people love
Would
to
enjoy
see.
watch.
Well, it's a piece of art itself, too.
Yeah,
to
right.
see the instrument.
But it would be nice to have maybe a band.
And that could be something as simple as Bill and Jessica, who we're already paying, money fee,
They're already playing.
and they're playing but Friday night, though, this is the VIP event.
But that's a lot. I don't know, I was thinking
Maybe
of something else.
somebody.
What were you thinking of?
That woman is what I
That
was thinking
woman,
of.
Courtney.
She recently moved here. She's fairly famous.
What is she playing?
Courtney,
Guitar.
I haven't heard.
I actually guess.
What? Have you heard him?
Yeah, kind of. She just she's very, very well known in the world. So it seemed like a special thing. I did try to contact her and didn't know a lot. This is actually 3 months ago, where I was trying to get her to play the arts festival.
Oh.
But she may not, some people do not answer their Instagram messages when they're kind of famous because you get too many. I don't know. I just want you guys to think about it.
Yeah.
What would be special? It needs to be 1 tier bigger in a way.
What about Melissa Reeves?
Wrong sound.
That's too much.
For the, so,
It's
when you
just
have a
something
gallery opening and you.
Yeah, it needs to be
It
colored.
also actually has to kind of just be also background.
Background, yeah, it's ambiance.
It's not, we don't,
That's true. It doesn't have to be the center.
yeah, I don't really want that.
I think it's actually better. if
It's
just-
better, I mean,
Having a cellist is a really beautiful thing, having.
What about Robert Longley?
But that's
As long
where
as
this
he's-
guy Brian might be appropriate. Sasquatch.
Sasquatch?
My
Are
family
they Sasquatch?
volunteered and I laughed and walked away.
We played the opening of the
They're
Central
playing
School
the-
recently. It was like, you couldn't, it was just like, you couldn't hear a thing we did. And Ben opened for us. So it
Oh,
is.
it's something in the park.
Hmm?
The-
No, it was at the central school.
Oh.
That was insane to even try to play in that thing. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's much better to have it
It's
as
a background, it's just
and
a
not-
gentle background sound.
I just got it.
I would love to find if we had somebody who was a cellist or something like that,
So you haven't heard this person, Brian. So have you heard of an erhu? It's a Chinese fiddle. So, and his partner plays a tambura. And it's
so
absolutely,
that's lovely
it's,
background. music.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. Yes.
and I could ask him.
Would you
But,
please?
yeah,
Yeah.
should I? Because I didn't invite him to this because, I mean, his sound is almost like,
You could get
well, it's
drunk.
like kirtan. It's just spiritual. It's
Mhm.
a
Perfect
background.
I love
background.
that idea.
Yeah.
I want to
I
vote
love
on it
that.
in the future,
I
but yeah,
love that.
you would ask and see if there's.
I will ask.
Because I feel like Ben and that would be.
That would be
perfect.
beautiful.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right, I'll ask.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I'm
That's
excited
right.
because I wanted them for this, but,
Good,
You
good.
sure? You guys are here to keep me in line, so I was like,
Bam.
No, there's no big.
well,
That's a big, but
No, no,
that's.
she
you're
gets
right.
back to you.
all right.
And they're really nice, his partner. Very
We
nice.
have to leave in just a couple minutes.
Left and right.
Yeah.
Item 3, discussion of any additional items.
I would like to ask if, oh, no. Nope.
No?
Are you sure?
Sure?
Sure off the top?
Then,
I do have something I want to
Yes,
add.
please.
I'd like to get something on the agenda for the next meeting.
yeah, can we, and we're about to have that agenda item where we talk about agenda items.
We're about to have an agenda.
Oh
item
my
when we talk about
gosh,
agenda.
okay,
You're
all
right on
right.
track.
You wanna wait for one?
Yeah.
Wait for one agenda. This is just like the open one, like, oh, we didn't specifically say. I have a question for the city.
Mhm.
When I got the information about insurance, they said that my performers would have to be insured. Which obviously, the circus performers are insuring themselves.
Mhm.
But every individual musician can't afford to pay $125 to insure them, or, you know, I don't know that.
Especially we're only paying them
I just want to, I don't think it's true, Jenny, I don't think it's true, but I think that we need to check, because I saw that it said vendors/performers, and I was like,
What?
Okay,
'cause they're on a stage, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think that we'd have to.
I'll follow up on that
This is
one.
a tiny heart attacks in the middle of the night that I'm having. Contract for performers, we're gonna get on that.
Do you want me to ask Ben about this?
Yeah,
Alright.
great. And then, yeah, that's all I have. So there's, do we want to go to vendor, we want to go to, she always says vendors.
I know it's not been on your brain.
I know, future agenda items.
Okay,
I'd like to talk about signs for the event, banners, and other of those kind of things.
I had a grant proposal that needed to be presented next meeting.
Is it yours?
No, it's some other folks, and
They have to send it to, they have to send it to the city.
they did already.
so Nina wasn't here today, so
Oh.
it got submitted today. We talked a
Okay.
little
And I
bit.
just want to make sure.
She wants to ensure that it's on the next agenda.
Reiterating.
And you got the ones during, so Nina knows, she's still running the agenda probably, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Mhm.
she knows, we repeat our agenda items pretty much right now.
That's fine.
Was there anything else that we talked about we really want to, we need to vote on the Arizona Rangers next time, we got
Right.
that. We need to vote on the actual proposal for the 10th.
Right.
Yeah.
I just want to see if the check is ready for David Druckmann. And I would know that.
I can check finance, call finance in the morning. Was it on the last?
Mhm.
It's on the list.
Okay.
Usually it can take up to a month.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, that, you're
I
right.
think it's been.
Any other agenda items?
I'll look into t-shirts, but I don't think that needs to be an agenda item.
We can put that under advertising or something.
Okay, okay.
Anything else? Look at that.
Look at
An
that.
hour, exactly.
Even to
Wow.
the minute.
That way you don't have to be stressed, Sharon.
I know, I'm on my way to go teach them. Bye.
I don't know. You don't have to have his moment, his favorite moment.
I move that we adjourn.
I'll second.
it.
All eyes.
Aye.
Thank you so much and good evening.
Thank you very much.